Hi guys, so my name is Nita. I make skincare content. If you like content like that, subscribe to my channel. But today we are not talking about skincare. We are talking about this little man right here. So if you hear noise in the background, please, I film with my phone camera, and there is no way I can actually fix that. There is a construction right in my compound, so you might hear a little bit of noise. Pardon that. So let's get right into it. We are talking about how to get your Google AdSense pin to you in Nigeria. If you're living in Nigeria, this is a little bit of struggle. No, not a little bit of struggle. This is a huge struggle. Like, it's a struggle. Google AdSense provided only 3 means of identification, verification. You either have to bring your national ID card, NIN, you need to bring your driver's license or international passport. If you live in Nigeria, you know in the last 3 or 4 years, Nigeria has not issued that plastic national ID card. You understand? So if you're really trying to do identification and verification, if you are doing your identity verification on your Google AdSense account, it is going to be very, very difficult, especially for up and coming YouTubers like us that are probably just, we are just basically starting and trying out this whole thing, and you don't have national the plastic national ID card, you have not driven a car before, you do not have a driver's license, and you don't have an international passport as well. So when this whole process started for me, it was hard. It got to a point that I'd stop actually playing on my channel because of this, and all of the money I had made prior to that, I'd lost it in my account, and it was really giving me worries because at that point I have tried everything. So if you are trying to get your Google AdSense pin to Nigeria, please watch lots of YouTube videos talking about this stuff, because that was how I was able to pick the tips that I used in getting this, and it really did not take me, it really didn't give me issues like that again. So I know the title of this video says how you can get your Google AdSense pin without national ID card and stuff like that. That is actually not true. There is no way you can get this here and do your verification on AdSense without at least providing a very good means of identification to identify you as a living human being that you are. So it is not possible. But if you do not have national ID card, or you do not have especially the plastic national ID card, you do not have that, and you don't have a driver's license, and you don't have an international passport, your best resort is if you have a permanent voter's card. If you have a PVC, please just use that. Make sure you take a very good clear picture of your PVC and use that. It works like this. It works very fast. In my own case, I don't own a PVC, I don't own a driver's license, and I don't have international passport. The only means of identification I have as a Nigerian to this point is my NIN. That's paper one. That is what I have. And I tried and tried and tried the first time after they had to block my AdSense account, and I was just so frustrated. So I watched a video on YouTube here. I think the guy's name is Ada's Cookie or something, and he talked about how you can actually get that national ID card. You can print it out and then you have the hard copy. I tried that. I printed it out, I snapped it. It did not work. It still didn't work. And that was like after I created another AdSense account. That was the first try, and you know that you have to try only 4 times. After the 4th time, you're not allowed to try again. At this point I'm like, okay, so what am I working for? What am I filming for? What's all the stress of YouTube for? aside the fact that you're doing something you love, the extra cash that comes with it is a bonus. And I was really stressed out. So one day I was just on my own. My sister is also a YouTuber, and she was just like, okay, she has a voters card, and since voters cards work, why don't I use our own? And I'm like, okay, your account is going to get to a point where it gets to verification, even though you are just an up-and-coming YouTuber. If I use yours and you try to use it at that point and it doesn't work, so what are you going to do? And then this thing struck me that yes, it means I can actually use somebody's either national ID card, voters card, or international passport. At this point, please, if you want to go down through these routes, please don't go and use somebody's card without telling them. Please, that would be fraud. That would be like a stolen identity. But if you have somebody who has no interest in blogging, vlogging, and they have no interest in maybe owning a Google Adsense anytime, any day, and you're not, basically this is legit, you're not doing fraud or anything, please ask them if they can allow you use their national ID card, driver's license, and whatnot. So my friend at that point was like, okay, use mine. And he's a guy. He did let me use his. So at that process, I just snapped it. I took very good clear picture and I uploaded it. And this thing that has been taking me ages, under 2 seconds, 10 seconds actually worked. And I'm like, okay, so I've done identification, verification, and all of that. So my identity is verified. After you've done that, the next step would be to get this thing, your pin, down here in Nigeria. And that is like the biggest issue. If you live in Nigeria, you know that many of the cities or towns where you live in is not properly numbered, and all of that. I live in Delta State, Nigeria. I stay in Abraka, to be precise. In this place, it's a school environment, but there is no house numbering whatsoever. There is no, you're going to somewhere, you identify where you're going to, but I'm going to so road, take me to this hostel, and basically that's how you go around. So if you're living in that kind of place, addressing your where you want your pin to be sent to can be hard. So Google is your friend. You know, when people say this, it actually looks like people are just talking, but the honest truth is that Google is your friend. The process in which I used in getting this, I just did research, I browsed it and all of that. How I got the right PO box and all of that was through Google. So I just googled post office in Delta State, and then when those came out, I also googled post office in Abraka, Ethiopia East. So when I did that, the right post office came with its right address and its right postal code. So that was what I used in addressing my later. And I've also heard people ask this question, so the address you're going to put in the letter, is it the address of the post office or your address? As long as your postal code is correct, and if you do not know your postal code, you don't know the right post office to put, Google your exact location and Google the exact post office that are within your specific location. Because I was staying in Delta State, but then I was contemplating, should I just address this letter to Lagos so it would be a lot easier? But then I thought about how stressful it's going to be for my parents to, you know, just keep having me go and check later. And I'm like, okay, I need something that is as close to me as possible. I watched a video that said address your letters to post office that are well known. That might not actually really be true, because if I addressed this letter to a post office in Warri, that is going to cost me time to maybe always go to Warri to go check on this, and it's going to cost me money as well, which I do not have to spare. But if you have that, or if you have the luxury of, you know, going to check on it in well-known post office in your state, your area, or whatever, that's good. But the thing I did that really helped me was that I addressed this specifically to a post office in this town where I live in, and it's just 100 naira or 150 bike money, and I'm there. You can get your exact postal code from Google. It is there on Google. Just search postal code of your town and several post office within that vicinity. You choose the one you want to put and put their postal code, and it is that simple. Always address your postal when you're addressing this letter. The address I actually put was the address of my hostel, so I just put God's Favors Hostel, Agbara Junction, because there is a junction close to my hostel that is called Agbara Junction. So I just addressed it there, Abraka, and then they would give you other options of what address to put. So I just put the local government of the town in which I am in right now, Abraka, Nigeria, and then I put my postal code. And some people would also advise you that you should go to your postal office where you have addressed this letter to and get somebody's number. And this has to take a lot of tipping. You have to tip them, collect their number, and give them the name. So now that you use somebody's else verification identity for your verification, you need to add your letter head will not be carrying that person's name, because that person is now who Adsense is actually recognizing as you. I don't know if I'm making sense, but this thing didn't come with my name. It came with the name of the person I used his international passport as my means of verification. So when you go to that postal office, you tell them not your name, because you're not expecting letter from Google for you at this point. Your Adsense is going to be bearing whatever name of the person you use in identification. So you tell that your postal, those guys at the post office, that you are expecting a letter from Google Adsense, and you tell them the name of the person, that is the letter you are expecting. Take their number, always call to check on them. For me, I didn't do that. I feel like I have personally addressed my letter properly. I didn't go to the post office. I left it for 2 months. Usually they will tell you that this takes about 2 weeks or to 21 days to get here or so. I don't know exactly the exact date, number of days it takes, but that's what they usually say. But the truth is that Nigeria is quite tricky. If you watch a lot of YouTube video on how to get your Google Adsense pin, you would know that it does not take 22 weeks. Most people, this takes up to like a month to 2 months. So what I just did was, okay, I just left it. Honestly speaking, I left it for exactly 8 weeks, and the first day I went to check this was the first day it was there. So when I got there, the reason I said you should tell them the name of the person you use in your verification is because that was the mistake I did. I went there and I was like, I'm looking for a Google Adsense later with the name Nita Aesthetics, my channel's name, and all of that, and they said there was nothing there. I'm like, check this thing that's supposed to come, and they said they checked, there was nothing there. And I'm like, okay, I think it seems I made a mistake. Check so and so name, Google Adsense, and the person just went to check and it was there. And according to them, this letter actually came just few days before I came to look for it. So obviously this took about 2 months. So give this time. Once you finish your application, give it time. Don't be stressing yourself and be going there every day. Give it at least 1 month. If you live in very popular places and your post office is quite known, give it a month. For us who live in almost villages, seems as if we live in a village, give it at least a month and few weeks, and you would get this. And basically that was how I got my Google pin. I did my verification without my passport, no NIN, and no driver's license. And basically, like I said in the beginning, there is no way you would get this without passing through that verification process from Adsense. So if you're finding it very difficult like I found it, please look for your brother, your sister, or somebody that has an ID card they can release to you, and use that. I think that's all. Use that and address your letters properly. Make sure that your PO box numbers are correct, and the address you address your letter to should be your personal address, or an address very close to the vicinity where the post office is in, because the post office is not very far from where I live. So I actually put my hostel's address, and this baby right here came. I imputed my code. Literally took 2 seconds, 10 seconds, I don't know, it didn't take anything, and voila, I'm done. So I hope my ranting actually made you learn something. I hope you found this helpful, and if you really did and you like skincare content, please subscribe to my channel. If you still don't like skincare content and you think you like my face enough, subscribe to my channel. See you guys next time. Bye. I love you.